Welcome to 304 Customs Garage. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at my S10 V8 swap build project that's been put on hold for a while. This is its natural environment in the garage at the time being, collecting dust. So, in this episode, we're going to be talking about where we've been, what I have planned for the truck still, and maybe a timeline, hopefully, of when we can get this sucker on the road, and hopefully answering some of your questions. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for all the continued subscriptions and comments and people that are still watching this content. If you've been watching and following for a while, you'll see that this truck is in the exact same condition as it was when I left it last time. Reason for that is, just to be straightforward, is I've really been just taking time off to spend time with family, enjoy that for a while, and kind of put this on the back burner. But the holidays are fast approaching, it'll be very soon, and then it'll be that gap in the winter where there's nothing else going on. So I figured it was a perfect time to try to get back in and start working on this to hopefully be able to drive it in the spring or summer of next year. Like I mentioned last year, as you know, if you've been following for a while, we have a lot of work to do, and I hope to get that done soon. So just to give you a brief rundown of what we have going on here, this was a 93 V6 4.3 liter single cab short bed truck. Ripped all that out. Now has a small block Chevy. It is a 350. It has heavily modified Vortec iron heads, hydraulic roller, has RPM Edelbrock air gap intake, and we're going to be running a Holley 750 double pumper on this. Turbo 350 transmission that's built, torque converter. I believe the stall range was like 32 to 3,500, something like that. And then out back we have a Ford 88 posi track with a 373 gear. We have it sitting on 15x4 wheels, and on the back we have 15x10s. Then narrow the 88 rear so that both sides of the axle tubes are the same length. So if you have any questions on that, let me know. If not, I'm going to try to answer a few of your questions while we're here and hopefully give you a little bit of an update of where this project is going to be steered in the near future. All right, so some of your questions. First question I have, is this project still in the works? Yes, it is. So I'm planning to finish this hopefully in the next year. It's come a long way since I started on this, working on it a little bit at a time. I'm like most of you all, I have a day job too that I have to go to, and then I have family also that really ties into the time allotment for being able to work on this every minute of my free time. So free time is pretty limited at times, but hopefully here soon we'll be able to start working on this again. There is a lot of things and some bigger projects that are going to be happening very soon with this, and hopefully we'll be able to tackle those this winter for the spring. Okay, next question. Did you ever find out if the radiator lower hose will work? I did not. As you see, I do not have the core support in here. I have some ideas of how to make that work. It may not be the best idea, but I really need to get it away from the frame. If you remember one of the videos, looking at it and mocking it up, just eyeballing it, it looked like it was going to be really tight with that lower hose, but there's some ideas that I have, and hopefully if I can get that to work, I'll make sure I include that in the video as well. Okay, so up next we have a question regarding the fuel system. Did the submersible fuel hose work? How did you end up running the lines from the fuel tank to the factory location? So right now what I have is that submersible fuel hose that I attached to the stock pump hanger, removed all the factory internal in-tank pump, and used a submersible rubber hose down to the bottom of the fuel tank, and I used a fitting that came up out of the pickup tubes onto an AN fitting conversion, and I ran stainless braided line from there up under there. But right now I didn't finish it all. It's only to the back of the cab where I have a fuel filter mounted to the frame, and then my plan will either be to run it up this side and then across, or I'm going to come up to about where the transmission is and then jump it over to the other side and then over to the mechanical fuel pump off the engine block. I'll cover more of that as well when I get to that, and hopefully that'll be something that'll be easy to knock out and not too much of a pain when we get to it. Okay, so the next comment, it has to do with the transmission. This person was asking, how did you end up running your remote transcooler? Where did you put the lines? So my initial plan, and this also may be a spoiler topic of the next video that I'm making, will be finding a nice home for the remote transcooler that we're going to be running. We'll also be running AN braided lines off of the Turbo 350 transmission, but I'm not sure if I'm going to put it in the front because of the amount of space that it takes. That thing is humongous. It does have a fan on it. It's a Durrail model, which we'll cover in the video once that comes out. And then future plans for this, if I put it elsewhere in the truck, maybe we'll have to relocate it with future plans for this truck. So that'll be one of the next videos that come out soon, actually, and hopefully in the next week or two we'll be able to finish that up and get your answer on that. So next question, where did I get these pulleys is what this individual is asking. The water pump and the crank pulley, I believe I came and got those at Summit Racing. I may have mentioned that in one of the other videos a while back. I don't know what brand they were. I think they were Summit brand, but I don't even know if they still make those. But I did see that I think ICT Billet is making these now, so you might want to check that out. Summit Racing power steering pump pulley. I did get this from Jegs because it matched the power steering pump that came from Jegs as well. That was a pretty easy one. But so Summit, ICT Billet, Summit brand, and Jegs. Okay, so next question up. You want to know if I narrowed the rear end and how did I get the 15 by 10 to fit on the rear. So the 488 is modified. I did do the short side narrow on it, which is where you cut the driver's side tube to match the passenger side tube. I forget what the exact measurement was. There was a video that I followed, I think it was from the fabrication series. Excellent instruction there, and that should get you through it. And that's basically what I did with that. Of course, I took it all apart, new seals, all of that. And then with the 15 by 10s on there, I didn't really have any issues with it. There's still probably almost an inch or so between that and the leaf springs and the frame. Should be plenty of room, I hope. If not, then I guess I can always go to a smaller wheel, but I don't see that being an issue with the 15 by 10. And with the 6.5 inch backspace, I'm hoping that I can get most of the wheel underneath the bed. So hopefully we'll get that in. If not, I guess we're going to be getting smaller wheels. Okay, so next, it's not really a question, but kind of someone left a comment. They had mentioned the control arms here on the front hitting the frames are in full extension. I have a solution for that, I think. I'm going to try it. It's going to end up modifying these control arms, or we may be getting different ones. We also may be changing the front springs out as well. Maybe putting a set of trick springs on this instead of this. These are really just the factory V6 springs that came on the truck that are however old now, 30 years old, 31 years old almost. So I have some ideas there, and hopefully that'll work. If not, we can always change that stuff out as well before we put it on the road when it's in its current condition. Okay, so here's one individual asked about the headers and the coating. So the coating I ended up going with was from Jet Hot. It is a ceramic coating. It looks like a chrome polished look. It's not as heat resistant as some of their other coatings or some of the other companies' coatings, but I like that look, and I think it'll go well with the pulleys and the valve covers, the water pump neck, stuff like that. That was kind of the look I was going for under the hood. As you see, like the oil dipstick and the transmission dipstick, all that. I think it'll look really nice under here. So I'll make you a short of those. I did get those back. They were pretty expensive. They were more expensive than what I was quoted after I got them back. So just a heads up there. If you're going to get that, prepare to be paying more potentially than what they quote you for. Okay, so I wanted to get a few of the questions answered. I appreciate everyone continuing to watch the channel, supporting us. I know I've been away for a while, but I am going to come back soon. Like I said, I'll try to make it short at least in the next day or so with the headers. You can see what those look like. They look fantastic, even though they were really expensive, and hopefully they'll hold up and be corrosion resistant and look nice just to give you an update quick before we end this video. So future plans for this truck, obviously we still have a ton of work to do, whether it's wiring, paint, reassembly, things like that. Obviously a good cleaning is in works. There's seats, interior stuff. I'm going to be taking the dash out here soon also. The reason for that is I wasn't going to spell that, I was just going to kind of make the video, but if you're watching this far, I'll go ahead and give you a little bit of a notice in advance. We are going to be putting the 850 roll cage in this, and hopefully we can get that done over the winter as well, and not have that be like one of the things holding up the project. Getting closer to spring, there's much more stuff that we're going to be going in the meantime. So that'll be an interesting topic when we get to that far, and hopefully everything goes smoothly with that. Okay, so that's going to wrap up everything for this video of our little Q&A session / channel update. Hopefully we'll be back into this and making you full-time videos once again very soon. I appreciate everyone's continued support, and I thank you all new people as well for watching the channel and checking out the videos. Please hit the like and subscribe button, bell for notifications. Everything that you can do to support the channel is greatly appreciated. It'll only allow me to make better content for you in the future. Hopefully we'll get this on the road this year, and I'm not saying this next year, hopefully it's the year after before we get this done. So let's get this truck wrapped up. Have a good night.